Hey, I'm Piri and I run the British Manor YouTube channel. So I've been obsessed with buildings, old buildings since I was a kid, and not in the way an architect is, more in terms of, who built this, who paid for it, and what did it cost them. And when I say cost, I don't even mean in a monetary sense. I mean more the human cost, because behind every grand estate, every castle, every palace with a gift shop and a tea room, there's a story that the guidebook doesn't necessarily tell you. A family that went bankrupt, keeping the roof on, or workers who died quarrying the stone, or a teenage heiress who was sold into a marriage to save the building that she's never seen. That kind of thing really interests me. And I started making these videos because I realized that a lot of people will walk through these palaces and see beautiful rooms and manicured gardens, but they don't necessarily see the death duties that nearly destroyed the family. They don't see the troubled people or the enslaved people whose labour paid for the marble. They don't see the wife whose centrepiece on the dining table is tall enough just to block her husband's face because she couldn't stand to look at him. The real history of these buildings isn't on plaques, it's in the cracks. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's true. Britain is a country with such rich history, and it's important that we try to uncover as much of it as we can. And to be honest, I think some of these videos are probably too short to do the stories justice. So please do keep an eye out for some of those longer videos that we'll be uploading, to make sure that we can fully capture the full depth of history we're exploring, because a lot of these buildings are so rich in history that 30 to 40 minutes actually isn't long enough to cover it, fascinatingly enough. But these stories deserve it. And I've had people tell me that they started watching one of these on a lunch break and ended up 2 hours deep reading about Blenheim at 3 in the morning. And that's when I know that these videos are having a really strong impact on people. But I can't take all the credit for the topics, because some of you guys have actually suggested the best ones. I'll be researching a script and then someone in the comments will make or drop a detail about something I've never heard of, or suggest a property that turns out to have one of the darkest stories that the country's ever seen. So please keep commenting. I do read every single one because I find them extremely valuable, and it also helps me know which content you guys want to find and have produced. So keep commenting. I do read them, and they are very, very helpful. But you guys are telling me what you're curious about, and then when I dig up what's actually happened, that's kind of where we get that value exchange. So it's been really great to build this community so far, and it keeps growing. So thank you all for your support. And it's a community of people who look at a stately home and want to know the history behind it, who suffered for it and what's the context on how it exists and how it came to be. And we're a community of people who really care. So this is why I make these videos. It's something I really enjoy. And I'm glad that you guys are all here on the journey with me and the team. So thank you very much for watching this. I'll keep investigating as long as you keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.